Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast with Adrian B. Holmes. Today I actually have a very, very special guest with us, and it's my hot wife, Tanya. She's been with me ever since the beginning of our company. We got married 11 years ago
That's right.
and going strong, and we've been doing business together. Which we actually fired her probably about, what was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah,
Or was it we politely asked her to leave the company?
that's right. I think I asked to leave.
Yeah, it was good though. It was a really good decision. And we're very excited to be here. And I'm just going to be talking with her. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some things that we went through in building, really in design, and where my wife came into play in a lot of the things for our business. If you haven't watched any of our past podcasts, I want to invite you to watch a couple of them. One of them is our warranty podcast with the warranty manager, and talking about what to do in your home and how to eliminate warranty issues. Another thing is what to look for. Another podcast was what to look for when you're purchasing a home. So I think that's kind of important for you to kind of just watch through those and see where we're coming from and what we have. But today we're actually going to be talking about a little bit about how we started, what we did right, what we did wrong, and then what we learned from it. And if you are planning on starting a business, what to do, what to look for, and a couple of pointers that I have for you guys. So yeah, Tanya, do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Let's see.
Are you camera shy?
A little bit. I'm a little camera shy.
It's
That's
okay.
one thing. That's one thing about me. I like to support my husband. So he's always the one talking, and I'm just supporting him from the background.
So technically I'm the mouth and she's the brains behind the operation.
Let's see. We have 3 kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom now. Yeah. And I'm enjoying life
Yeah.
with you.
We actually named our company after our oldest son, Adrian, which I think I mentioned that in the first podcast, but the company is named after our oldest son, Adrian. And we got into building 2014, and really going into building was it was a big step for us because I was always in the construction industry, but going into a building was different because now we're not just doing trades work. Now we're actually dealing with the end consumer on the construction side of things. So that was very easy for us to kind of figure out. We're like, okay, we want to go into building. This is what we want to do. And along the way, we've made a lot of mistakes. And I would say I'm going to go into a couple of the mistakes that I think I made. And honey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can add on to those.
Okay.
I think one of my very first mistakes that I made was after I built my first home and we sold it. I went in to build my second house, and I think I had a big head.
I remember that.
You remember that? So I got very prideful. It was like immediate. I went in and tried to build a bigger house, fancy it up. You remember that? I mean, it's still a beautiful home to this day. I think it sold 4 times after we sold it. It sold another 4 times afterwards. Beautiful home, but pride got to me to a point where we almost lost our company. Do you remember going through that?
I do remember going through that. Another thing I wanted to add is not just pride, but probably not having the knowledge and going into something like that large house right away definitely made us step back and reevaluate our costs, you know, even evaluating the market a little bit more, because you built this home, beautiful home, which anybody would be blessed to have, but were we able to sell it at that time? Was the market looking for something like that? We didn't take that into consideration. I feel like we just built.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have that actually as a list on one of the things is market research.
Yes.
About doing if you're starting a new business.
It was our second home, so we didn't do any of that kind of thing. We were just on fire.
Yeah. So that was one thing that really set us back. But we got out of it. I mean, every time you look at actually every company that you look at, I mean, driving down the road, I guarantee Walmart almost went bankrupt in the beginning until they actually put their systems in place. I guarantee almost every single company that was ever put out was also went through a phase where they had a turning point. You know, I don't think any company became successful right away. And then even if they did, there was a lot of research, there was a lot of trial, there was a lot of error.
Yes.
In every single thing. So Tanya's role in the company in some of the places was, I know I'm switching gears right now. I'll go back to failures. I want to talk about something uplifting for once. I'm kidding. But Tanya's role in the company was, she was dealing with finances. She was the one that did all the bookkeeping for the company, which Mike now took over and runs it really well. And Tanya used to do all the bookkeeping and everything. Can you give somebody that's wanting to get into the home building industry or any company, or any industry right now, starting their own business, can you give a couple pointers of what you would recommend for them about bookkeeping?
Let's see. It's a very important part of business. It's something that is oftentimes overlooked as a job that you can just do later. Like, I'll get the project finished, but the papers are always procrastinated upon, you know? So I would say that it's equally as important as doing the project itself. Because once tax season rolls around, you realize real quick the health of your company. Was I making any money? Was I making the right financial decisions? And if you are keeping up with your paperwork, with the costs, with paying your bills on time, with paying your subcontractors, it gives you a bigger picture on, hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right moves? A lot of things that I wish I knew when I started accounting or bookkeeping was the programs, the forms, just general things like that, because I didn't know in depth what it took to be an accountant. Like QuickBooks. Basically, I taught myself on my own trial and error how to use QuickBooks. Understanding all the different features and steps along the way that really made the process easier for me. But that took a lot of late nights, a lot of thinking that I got it and then redoing it for like the fifth time. Yeah.
Well, one thing you said is trial and error.
Yes.
In no matter what you go into, there is going to be trial and error.
Yes.
In any business. I mean, even like the firm that we're getting the podcast done at, I guarantee there was trial and error in there. So every single thing, there's going to be trial and error. But are you going to be a quitter and you're going to give up? Or are you going to just keep going and be like, look, I know I made a mistake. This is how I'm going to fix it, and keep going?
Well, that's what I meant by I had a lot of late nights figuring it out. It probably would have been better to have some sort of education in accounting, in finance, in business management, but we didn't. We learned on our own mistakes. The point is to keep going. You learn from that mistake, you keep going. If there's something you have to redo it. Yeah. And then next time you'll do it right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's awesome. That's really good advice. So I know we went off a little bit on the financial side of things, but it was really the trial and error that got us to where you are. Don't quit. At whatever you start, don't quit. Don't just give up and like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is not worth it. We have made a lot of good investments over the past 8-9 years, but we've also made a lot of bad investments.
Yes.
And yes, the bad investments cost money, but when you look at a bigger picture, you always have to, you see a goal, you set a goal in front of you, and you go and achieve it or go after it. So really, I want to go through a list of a couple pointers that I want to encourage you if you are considering on starting a business. Number one, I think select your trade or the area that you want to go into business.
Yes.
So selecting a trade where, let's say you want to be a plumber, well, select that trade and be like, okay, this is the where I want to go. And now that you've made your decision, now you are able to do research on it. I recommend, and I have a lot of young guys come to me quite often, and they'll ask me, hey, I want to become a home builder. Can you give me a couple pointers for me to start building? And for me, one of the biggest things I say is, you sure you want to be a home builder? Yes. Okay. Number one, go get a job as a superintendent at another home builder company. I've recommended this to so many guys. And one recent that I remember is he came up and he said, hey, I want to be a home builder. You know, can you help me out with starting up? And I told him, I said, go get a job. So he went to work for a local company that's a big builder locally, probably 800-900 homes a year, as a superintendent. And then a year later, I found out that he doesn't work there anymore. And I said, why don't you work there anymore? He said, I can't deal with that stress. It is a stressful job. Home building is not easy. It is a stressful job. But if it's your passion and whatever you set your mind to, you will be able to succeed in it. The Bible says, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. If you set your mind to something, you have to get it done. Even if you don't like it at the end, figure it out, go at it, and get it done. And then, okay, I became this, but this is not where I want to go. Now I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to go to somewhere else. But don't be like, oh, I'm starting home building, and then, oh, I don't like home building, I'm going to go into remodeling. And then 2 months later, you've tried 7 different careers because you've been at something for a week in each one.
I think that's also something that happened to us early on too. You committed to home building. When things got a little tough, I do remember you searching other avenues for income. And I was like, listen, if you don't put all your attention into this right now, you're going to have a bunch of businesses not doing well. Whereas you could be the best in the specific area that you've chosen, be the best at it.
Yes.
And do it well.
Yeah. So point number 2 was learn that trade.
Yeah.
Get a job for someone that actually does where you want to be, or go work with someone where you want to be. Point number 3 is don't quit when things get tough. And we almost quit multiple times. We've had multiple conversations. I have almost quit multiple times. Now, that's why the Bible says, again, I'm gonna be quoting a lot of scripture today. It says that he who finds a good wife finds a good thing, finds a treasure, right? And I found the good wife that really, whenever I feel down, she encourages me. We do business together. Even though she is not in my office, we don't talk business unless I have a hard time going through something, and she'll encourage me. She'll bring me up. Number 4 is something that we did not do for the longest time ever, and I encourage everyone to do this. Number 4, celebrate your achievements. This is something that we as people always kind of forget, because we'll set a goal, and when we do reach that achievement, we have another goal already in place for the next step. So we forget to celebrate where we have been, or where we made it to.
Where you came from.
Where you came from even as well, yes. Celebrate your achievements, and set up milestones. A thing that you can look back and remember, like, man, this is where I was. This is where I am now. And this is where we're going. So when you have that, you can see progress. You know, in big firms, there's progress reports. Right now, with the company that we're dealing with on a Builder Trend is a company that we have all of our projects running through. We have progress reports that come in, And I know that last week this house was at 50%. This week this house is at 56 or 70% or whatever it is. But there's a progress report, and celebrate those milestones. I'm going to tell you a story in the Bible. The children of Israel crossed the Jordan. The ark is carried by the priests, and the priests had to stand in the Jordan River, and the river would part, and the whole entire nation of Israel passed by. Well, then God tells Joshua to pick up those stones and set them as a monument. Those stones that the priests were standing on, to pick them up and set them as a monument, as a remembrance that this is where we came from. This is where we were. This is what God brought us through, and this is where we are.
Yes. Recently, we were invited to someone's house for dinner, and they asked us our story. And I feel like when we started to get into it from the beginning to where we are now, we remembered all of those milestones. We remembered, okay, yeah, we did have those hard times, and we did have those good times. And it feels like it didn't take 11 years to get to where we are. But when you look back, you're like, yes, I put in the work. We put in the time. We did things. And definitely I remember thinking and also celebrating to myself, wow, what God has done through us is beautiful.
And I think point number 5 that I want to make in your business, whenever you are started up and you're going, share with your growth with people that care. Mm-hmm. That's very important, because you can tell people that, hey, this is where we are and this is how successful we are, but they don't care about you. They don't care where you're going, anything about you. Again, in scripture, there's this verse that says, don't cast your pearls to the pigs.
Yes. Don't
do that. There's people that are in your life that you have to actually remove, because they're not going where you're going. Mm-hmm. And you have to eliminate them. You're going to have to stop communicating, because where you're going, a lot of people are not going there. So you will have to hustle. You'll have to do things that they're not doing. But then also, you're not going to celebrate with them. So don't cast your pearls to the pigs. Mm-hmm. Share your growth, share your experiences, share your milestones with people that actually care about you. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we did. We had to, a lot of people in our lives, we really didn't eliminate, but we really cut them out.
We were careful on how much time was dedicated to what. And that's something I feel like we learned a little bit the hard way when we seen that we were running out of time. We were busy, but didn't seem to accomplish much. And we had to reevaluate where we were spending our time. And it did come down to even people. Even though we don't cast our pearls to the pigs, we love people. We want to see people succeed in their lives. That doesn't necessarily mean that we call people pigs.
No.
No,
we don't.
We love people.
We do.
The meaning by that is it matters who you surround yourself with. And that's where I think that point comes to end. Yeah.
Surround yourself with successful people that are entrepreneurs, people that have a vision, that are not just existing. Yes. Surround yourself with people that are not, 9 to 5 as well. Even though it's good, you'll hear a lot of experiences from them. But a lot of times people that are 9 to 5 don't have the same vision that you do. Mm-hmm. And they don't have the same end goal that you do. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it is for us. We work hard. We're diligent in what we do. And I believe that we are blessed.
Yes.
We are blessed.
Of course.
And you can be blessed as well. Let's go through the 5 points that I had written down for today. Select your trade area, and then that where you want to go. Number 2 is learn your trade. Go in and work for someone that does what you want to do, or is where you want to be. Don't quit when things get tough. And in number 2, I would even say that person who you work for could be your mentor. He could be the one that would help you out. We have a guy that worked for us, my cousin. He worked for us, and we trained him up. We helped him set up his company, and now he's a local home builder as well. He's not competition with me because you can't compete with me. There's 300,000 or however many builders around. I don't know how many builders are in Spartanburg. I just threw out a number, but tons of builders around.
Yes.
Thousands of homes going up a month or sorry, a year. And my cousin's not in competition with me, but me seeing him successful actually brings me up as a mentor. So learn that trade. Go under a company that knows what they're doing. Don't quit. Don't give up. You're not a weakling. Things are tough. Put on your big boy pants and get things done. And then celebrate your achievements. If you achieved something, you got a lender to lend to you. Celebrate that. You got not a partner, but a investor to come in and finance you. Celebrate that. Those are big achievements. You bought a piece of property. Celebrate that. That's amazing. Now you're able to generate revenue, or you bought a piece of equipment. That's awesome. By celebrating, I don't mean go bust champagne every time you do something. No, but there's ways that you can celebrate these things. And now you look back at them as a remembrance of where you were and where the Lord has brought you. And then share your growth with people that care about you, care about your success, and care about where you are going. Don't surround yourself with people that are lazy. They have no drive, no passion. Don't surround yourself with those people. Don't eliminate
Surround
them.
yourself with people that sharpen you.
Yes, iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
So surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed and want to see you go further in life. So yeah, that's all for today's podcast that we're doing. We didn't want to go too long, but we thank you so much for watching. Again, my beautiful wife, Tanya. I'll bring her on a couple more times. I think she has a lot of wisdom. I want to talk to her a little bit about the design aspect on another episode. And yeah, we'll see her again. We'll see you guys again. Thank you so much for watching. If you can, share this video, leave us a comment or with questions or what all you have that you would like us to answer. We have a couple attorneys that are online, scheduled basically as well to come in and do a couple podcasts with us. And we're excited where this is going, and thank you for being here with us on this journey. Yeah, that's all for today. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.